It's time for Yerushalmi Shabbos in the article Ozvar edition where Mamsha top of Kuftes of Ralph, Elu Tinokos Fekos, which in the Vilna is the last three words on Peites Ralph. And again, as he said, this is really going back an issue which we spoke about yesterday. Elu Tinokos Fekos, these Tinokos where we have these Fekos, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday. Ma Avile, what's its status? What do we draw a parallel to? The Kedavar Sheyesh Lo Kitzba is like something which has a limit. O Kedavar She'ein Kedavar Kitzba. Something has a limit, like Imurei Tzibur on Erev Pesach on Shabbos, with a specific amount of Korban Tzibur allowed to bring, or it's like Korban Pesach, which have no Kitzba. So we're going to read the gears here like the Korban Eda. If you're going to make it like something which has no limit, I feel ancient Tinok Achelamul. Then it should be true even if there is no other child here to be mal. V'in tav dinun, if you're going to make it kedavar sheyesh lo kitzba, if they're going to make it like something which has a kitzba, has it, then hu sheyebo to korban, to sham tinok achlamul. There has to be another child there to be mal. And let's see the Korbaneda's interpretation. Kedavar she'ein lo kitzba, afilu mal shel Shabbos erev Shabbos. Even you're ready, the one of Shabbos you mal on erev Shabbos, so potter, right? You're still potter because it's davar she'ein lo kitzba. Davar sheyesh bo kitzba, something which has a limit. Dafka sheyesh sham tinok acher, only if there's another child who could be to have a meal on Shabbos, then who the potter? To have a tar mamish, because then you actually tar the mitzvah. But otherwise you be chayiv. Rabbi Yossi said, "Milei and Rabbanan avdin lo." The words of the rabbis seem to make it. The avdin lo to make it for us. Kedavar. We're going to go like Moshe here. Sheyesh lo kitzvah. It seems to be going like it was saying that it's a davar sheyesh lo kitzvah. Because otherwise, in our Mishnah, for Reisha, even Rabbi Yeshua holds your chayiv, right? When you had one to be mal erev Shabbos and one to be mal Shabbos, and Friday and the Friday Shabbos case, and you were mal the Shabbos went on Friday and the Friday went on Shabbos. So how can Rabbi Yeshua say chayiv? How can you say chayiv? It's davar sheyesh lo kitzvah. There can be many children to be mal today, so it's called this also one which is you're to tabed var mitzvah. So it must be that by definition it's a davar sheyesh bo kitzvah, and that's the only potter sheyesh sham tinok acher lamul. If there's another child here around, actually, which requires a bris milah today. Now we go again back to another discussion of we seem to be going back to over previous points. Isachamei, come and see. Potter. If you remal the kid from after Shabbos, on Shabbos, the Sunday kid, on Shabbos you're potter. Icherzmano, if you remal the kid from Erev Shabbos, on Shabbos, you're chayav? Why should that be? It should be the opposite. Now, we're quoting Rabbi Yana, which this Gemara evidently not know about. We already explained that. We said if you did the Sunday one on Shabbos, you're a potter because you had a Shabbos one around, right? Which we're leaving until after Shabbos, so that's why you're potter. But the Gemara here does not know about Rabbi Yannai's answer, evidently, at this point. So this Gemara Taka goes in a different direction. Gemara says, Ravuna Machiluvin Imas Nisan. You're right. We have to change our Mishnah around, not the way we have it here, but rather Tani Omer Rabbi Shimon. Like Rabbi Shimon said, no, Rabbi Lezer should not argue. Mishal Mul Achar Shabbos, Mul Shabbos said you had the Sunday Shabbos case, and you mal the kid after Shabbos on Shabbos Shechayev. Because not taking into account the fact that Shabbos is nit only dachos for the Shabbos baby, you're Chayev, right? Everybody, Rabbi Shua. Only on Misha Lula Mu Erev Shabbos and Mola B'Shabbos. Only if you had the switch is the other way around. They had a kid to be Malin Erev Shabbos, and you were Malin on Shabbos. Shalazim Chayav Chatas, Shalazim Chayav Chatas, and Rabbi Yeshua point there, Rabbi Yeshua exempts you. It says you're Torah B'Var Mitzvah because it is already after the 8th day for that kid. Now here, at this point, it's not clear in this version whether you switched. Right? Did you in this case where you said Mitzvah Chalutza on Rabbi Yeshua, because you mal the kid from Erev Shabbos on Shabbos. What about a kid who's supposed to be on Shabbos? Would you mal him on Erev Shabbos? He's still around on Shabbos. Right? It's not clear yet. So now the Gemara reintroduces Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yosef said, from this question of the Isa Chamei, which was the Hiktim Zmano Potter, Ichas Zmano Chayav, from this question, that Kusha Makshe Lo Rabbi Yanai, it's a little bit difficult to read the Gemara, but because the question is so difficult, so that and Rabbi Yanai had this bothered him, therefore he said, Shabbos Erev Shabbos. In our version of the Mishnah, the only reason why you are chayav is because you taka did the one from Shabbos on Erev Shabbos. So since you did the one on Erev Shabbos, so once you did the one on Erev Shabbos from Shabbos on Erev Shabbos, that's why our Mishnah says you're chayav. Ein chanami. He doesn't want to change the gear, so he wants to go with our Mishnah. But he's saying, you're right. If the one for Erev Shabbos is still around on Shabbos, if the one on Shabbos is still around on Shabbos, so then the fact that the Shabbos is getting Nitan Lidachos, because the Shabbos one is still here. So therefore, the only time your Shabbos not needing no Lidachos, and you're chayiv by having done the Erev Shabbos one on Shabbos, is if you actually did the Shabbos one on Erev Shabbos. That's Rabbi Yanai saying it without changing. He's not going like Chalufin and Masnisin like Rav Huna. He's going with our gears in the Mishnah. As he's explaining, he's putting in to the Mishnah, which is not explicit in the Mishnah, right? Because our Mishnah just said Echel Erev Shabbos, Echel Shabbos, 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 Chayav. And now Rabbi Yanai is putting in, he's saying, and it's only in a case where the Shabbos when he did an Erev Shabbos, so therefore Shabbos not need only dachos. Ravada Barahava Amar Zudi Rabbi Shimon. This is all we've been talking about the past couple of days is that Rabbi Shimon holds there's got to be some shemetz of a mitzvah there in order to be considered Torah B'dvar mitzvah. Has he something where there could have been Imborei Tzibor, could have been the Shem Pesach, or has to be kosher the same which be royal L'Shem Pesach. Shabbos has to be the Nitan Lidachos, or because there's a kid here. All these cheshbonos are all according to Rabbi Shimon, and they have different cheshbonos. Avol Rabbi Yossi, according to Rabbi Yossi, if you davar she'em asiyos a mitzvah, even there's no mitzvah at all. You did something which is not appropriate at all for a mitzvah, but you thought you were doing mitzvah. However, Torah L'Shem Mitzvah Potter. Since you thought you were doing it for the purpose of mitzvah, you're potter. Okay, now we have a totally new sugi, which actually is not related to Shabbos. Piresh, when you finish the bris milah, the primary bris milah, eino choser el tzitza machmas milah. You don't go back to take off any other flesh unless it's flesh which its presence impedes the milah, which the Mishnah of Allah above is going to discuss. Amar, I think it's Rabbi Yechon. Diva Rabbi Yossi, I feel Piresh, even he was already finished. I feel Tzitzin Shei Makvin Samila. You go back even for Tzitzin Shei Makvin Samila. And the Gilin Shas says that it's Chakir and Zakeh Levanveru, which is one of the Lom D'Shei Shiva Chakiras, which is I believe the Chaim or Brisker Rav, but here it's really in the Yerushalmi itself. Is Zekei Maveu only b'shas the Ma'aseh Mitzvah, or is it only after they did the Ma'aseh Mitzvah you can go back and do Zekei Maveu? So according to the first statement, Pirish Enochos Al Tzitzim Machmei Mila means that's it. There's no Zekei Maveu after you finish the mitzvah. Nothing to do. Yes, says no. Even your Pirish, you can still go Zekei Maveu later on. There's still a hemshech to the mitzvah. Hayden Rabbi Yossi. Where do we see this Rabbi Yossi? Hayden Tiyatzama is a very cool Yerushalmi link. Like we learned over there, Rabbi Yossi, you don't have to be Shechag Shchalios b'Shabbos. The first day of Sukkot, coming out on Shabbos. Shachar v'tiyas l'uvishus Rabim. If you forget and you take a little out of Rabim, Potter. For example, because you took out because of the mitzvah. Now, in order to understand the raya from here, We have to see the coordinator. It says, Avagav came to Hagba Nafigba. Even though you're ready for Yotze, when you picked it up, when you initially. For two lokavi mitzvah, not doing mitzvah work. Kim she's sats mitzvah tilaso. Since there's still additional little bit mitzvah with picking it up. She alula biyada b'chol makom shalech le'milah should be his hand wherever he goes. Committed Anshe Yerushalayim, like Anshe Yerushalayim did. He'll put the afo tzah, so even there is put the on the tzah shugmar mitzvah, which is the end of the mitzvah. Meaning it's continuation after his yotze. Inan fish the savage mitzvah kach she'atam biyada potter. The second shot says no. Perhaps he holds that the mitzvah should always be in his hand. That says potter. But Rishon here says the first one is nearer. Yes, the first one seems to be more solid. So and the Gemara says Apasaket Shamila. This is true also by Saket Shamila, and although the it's the way Kormei learns, it's a question. Apasaket Shamila, do we say it's also by Saket Shamila? Af and then it says B'mila, but all the Farshim change it to the B'matzah. Is it B'matzah? In other words, after you finish Bismillah, and you take out the Saket Shamila Shus Rabim, and after you did already the Ma Mitzvah Matzah, and you take out the Matzah Shus Rabim, is that also true? Mimad Rabbi Yosef, so when it says Mimad Rabbi Yochanan, Divrei Rabbi Yosef, feel Pirish Chayza, feel Tzitzin Shei Makvi Samila, from the fact that he says that your Chayza even at Tzitzin Shei Makvi Samila, Had Amaras teaches us Afilu B'Saket Shamila Kain, teaches us the mitzvah continues, right? The mitzvah continues, and therefore you can still do Zekei Vanvei later on, although Shabbos not going to be Shabbos for it. If you did, you turn it Var Mitzvah. So you're potter. You shouldn't do it. But if you did it, turn Var Mitzvah, because Zekei Vanvei was afterwards, does apply. And also by Mila, by just by Lulav, the additional time is also a mitzvah, even though you're already Yotze, and therefore you're considered to be third var mitzvah, even though it was just Rabbim. By Mila, the possibility of doing Chayza Tzitz Shein Makvin Samila also is considered to be a continuation of the mitzvah, and Sakish and Matzah also, even though you ate Matzah, the continuation of eating more Matzah is also all that considered to be an additional part of the mitzvah, a continuity of the mitzvah, and therefore, if you did on Shabbos, Moitzi b'Shabbos, you're Tobit Var Mitzvah and you're Potter. Now, the Gemara is a little bit backwards because we wanted to bring we want to find which Rabbi Yossi, where Rabbi Yossi say that Pirish Chayz Afilu Tzitz Shem Akvis Amila. And we didn't really bring a Rabbi Yossi said it. Well, we said, no, according to Rabbi Yossi, he says, Pirish Chayz Afilu Tzitz Shem Akvis Amila. For that, we learned from Sak Shamila and Matzah. But evidently, there's an assumption here in the Gemara that somehow perhaps Rabbi Yossi is the one who asked the question that, let's say that I guess because he's the one when it says Tam Rabbi Yossi Marianta Shabbos. He then asked, so therefore he must hold that the mitzvah continues. And since he holds the mitzvah continues, then therefore it must be that he calls, you can go back even with Tzitz Shem Makvin Samila. It's like the Amila is a mitzvah named Shechus. So therefore, you can go back and do Zekei Mabeu even after you did the Ikar mitzvah of the cutting. And therefore, even though at the end it says, somehow, again, it's difficult in the words, but somehow we have to say, and flip it as well. Since he has this, since he wanted to assume that by Saket Shemila Kain and by Matzah Kain, it must be also that he holds that you can go back and see Shein Makrim Samila. Something along those lines. Okay, Aloche. Katan Nimo Shmona Katan gets between the 8th day, Latisha, 9th day, Lasora, the 10th day, Lachadasora, the 11th day, Shemus the 12th day, Lo Pachas Bloyoser. Not early in the 8th day, and not if it's, unless it's extending circumstances, more than 12 days. Kedarko, what's the normal case? Lishmona, 8 days. No Ben Hashmoshos, you're not sure whether he was born on which day he's born. So Nimotishi, you have to assume he was born in twilight. You have to assume he was born the next day, so he gets bris milah on the 9th day. Ben Hashmoshos Erev Shabbos, right, between Friday and Shabbos. So then can't do bris milah on the next week later from Shabbos because that's on Shabbos, and not sure it's on Shabbos. So then I saw you have to do the following Sunday. Yontif Shabbos, if on that following Sunday there's a Yontif, you have to push off another day. If that, then if there are 2 days Rosh Hashanah after the following Shabbos, so then Nimo Shtemos, and it's on the 12th day. Katan Achela, but of course, kid is sick. You don't do bris milah until he gets healed, and of course then it could be even more than 12 days. Okay, Yesh Katan Nimo. So it says, well, Yesh Katan Nimo Yomo. There's a child who gets his bris milah on the same day he's born. Hechavida. What's the case? Case is Yolda v'charkan Gaira. A woman gave birth, and immediately afterwards she was megayer. So she's with her child, and so the she was a, well, actually it doesn't say explicitly in the Torah. Rechaim Kanievsky says that she's Nemo together with a child. I was wondering why nobody said it beforehand. But it's obvious. So she's Nemo. She's Megayer on the Ishka's birth. After she gave birth to her child, and then she and her child gave birth. So it's called Miknas Kesef. Miknas Kesef does not the 8th day. It's Nemo immediately. Nemo Yomo. Nizgar Chakach Yoda, but if she was first Megayer and then gave birth, so then that's called Yelid Bias. And then Nemo Lishmoina. Then the child gets a bris milah on the 8th day. Okay, next question was a very difficult question. The Mepharshim really have grave difficulty with it. Don't blame them. Yaakov Ishkabrai Shol Rabbi Chagai. Rabbi Yaakov Ishkabrai asked Rabbi Chagai, Me'ato, no Ben Hashmashas, Nimo Ben Hashmashas. The child is born Ben Hashmashas. Let him get a bris milah Ben Hashmashas. Now, according to the Korbanate, it's talking about on Shabbos. He's born Ben Hashmashas b'Shim Motzoi Shabbos, between Shabbos and Motzoi Shabbos. So, you understand Ben Hashmashas. If Ben Hashmashas is Yom, so it's Derech Shabbos. And it's Ben Hashmashas is Laila. So anyway, it's after nightfall. After Shabbos is over. So Manav Shach. It's Derech Shabbos or not Derech Shabbos. The problem is, there's no bris milah at night. Everybody goes crazy in this Gemara. No bris milah at night. So therefore, what do you mean? Manav Shach, it's okay. No, it's not okay, Manav Shach. Ben Hashmashas is a day, you're fine. But Ben Hashmashas is night, you're not fine. It's not a good bris milah. Chaim Kievsky leaves it Tzarchim. Not clear what he was saying. It could be that the Shitas Yerushalmi, Shitas Rabbi Yaakov Ish by Barai at least, is that Mila Achaz Mana is kosher even at night. In other words, so it's saying, if the Ben Hashmashas is daytime, so it's Mila Bismana, and it's fine, whether it's on weekday or even on Shabbos, it's still going to be Derech Shabbos. And if it's, so therefore it's Yom, it's good. If it's night, it's already Achaz Mana. It's after the 8th day. And evidently his shita was that once it's after the 8th day, you can even do the bris milah at night. Okay? In any event, the Gemara gives the answer. If the two of us went into the same door, can we know going precisely together? In other words, we don't know what part of Ben Hashmashas is day. We don't know part of Ben Hashmashas is night. And therefore, the beginning of the Ben Hashmashas is daytime. The end of the Ben Hashmashas is nighttime. We don't know precisely when the changeover is. So therefore, we can't do the bris milah Ben Hashmashas because we don't know. Perhaps we're doing it now. It's during the daytime, whereas when it was born, it was at night, and therefore it's premature, and it's not be to bris milah, and so he's not going to be derech Shabbos. Okay, so basically he's saying Ev Shal Chavin. But it seems Yerushalmi is going to shita that Bein Hashmashos is not like the Rogachover says, like the Ritva says, I think in Shabbos, that it's a cheftza of suffix. The whole time is one suffix, but rather there's time which is day, time which is night. Ev Shal Amor Alei, we can't know precisely which is which. If the child has a fever, Matino Shloshim Yom. You wait for 30 days before you do the bris milah. Osam shloshim yom ma'u lachiluch chelev truma. Now, what does it mean? Chelev or cholav, neither of them can be truma. Neither meat nor milk is truma, whether you eat a chelev or cholav. So the Korban says about artificial milk. Soy milk. Made from wheat truma. Do we say that this orla shlobizmana when you can't do the bris milah yet is an orla or not? Before 8 days, it's not considered to be an orla. But what about after 8 days before when he had the fever? So the Gemara says also ma'usuga sheshem truma. Can we anoint him with oil of truma? Shemin. So let's learn from here. Orel. Now, Orel seems mean even if the person was Orel Ba'onus. Like Mes Achim Machas Mila. V'chol Tmeim, and anybody who's Tamei, Lo Yachol B'Truma, they can't eat Truma, Neshem Abdeim Yochlu. Their wives and their slaves can eat. So so here too, this is he's an Orel Ba'onus. Important to note that in the Bavli, it's not 30 days. It's 7 days after fever. That's a Pascal Lochal Maisa. It's a 7 day. I need full 7 days, Mace Lace, and then after fever, then you can do bris milah. But here in the Yerushalmi, it says 30 days. The Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Shem Barachia said, "Ein orla miyam hasheni v'halon." Before the 8th day, it's not a cheftza shel orla. Using the Lamish term, so therefore you're allowed to eat the artificial truma milk and be anointed with the truma oil. But Tanakeh, and so we learned that this, in fact, after that it is an orla. Even it is Tanakeh kosher shemil also chiluk chalav truma, the lasuha shemesh truma. Okay, leil shmini ma'atavli. What about? Okay, the first 7 days not orla, but what about the night of the before the bris milah? It's already the eighth day, but it's night of the 8th day. Is it considered to be orla or not? So, leil shmini mimaditani leil shmini nichnas adil isasar. Even though you can't sacrifice a korban till 8th day after the animal is born, but already on the 8th night it can go into the deer to be meiser behema, even though it can't be sacrificed the next day. Leil shmini kishmini. And the 8th day is going to be at night. It's going to be a chepta orla, even though you can't do the bris milah the next morning. It's chepta orla, and therefore you can't be anointed. Give him the artificial truma milk or give him the oil of truma. But that again, we talk about the way to brisa. Called shibas hayomim till the 8th night, but not include the 8th night. But not once the 8th day begins. Even though nighttime, it's can't do the bris milah. It's mechus zman, but still, just like the mechus zman is nichlas the daily satzer, because already it's on the 8th day. The 8th day started at night, so to hear the same thing. And we're ready on the next Omid, so of course we'll stop here.